Hello, this is Dr. Shiny or Cody. I have a tarot reading today for Taurus for the month of February for 2017. Thank you for returning if you're coming back, and welcome if you're new. I do have some introductory videos that can explain to you a little bit more how I approach the art of tarot reading and what you can hope to get out of it. So I'm going to get straight into it. Today we have, for your current situation, the Knight of Wands. The Knight of Wands is a very energetic, very forward movement card. You're in a spot where you are feeling anxious to move forward. You have like a vision, you have an idea, a way to fix things maybe. A creative vision, you want to accomplish something, and what's crossing you is the Queen of Wands. So it's quite possibly a female figure, or not necessarily a female figure, but a mentor. And this is somebody who's not necessarily the master of the craft that you're trying to study or whatever it is, but they are above you. And that's the important thing, I think, here in this situation. What I see is in your past, or what got you here, we have the King of Swords, which means that you've really mastered the intellect, and you're sort of adept at really having the superior thought process or logic in any sort of situation, and you're obsessed with that idea to a degree to where you right now have a boost of confidence, feeling like you can go back to the things that you always wanted to do, you always wished you could accomplish, and now you can use that intellect and you can get it done. And you have this influence of the Queen of Wands here, sort of subtly nudging you to take some time. You still have some maturation to accomplish, so you're going to need to slow down a little bit, because you have come to rely on what you know. And through this journey that's coming ahead, you're going to have to rely sort of on utilizing what you don't know, which is going to feel strange and foreign to you, especially if you have been really dogmatic about this for your entire life. Like, some people get caught in a cycle or something like that. But if you've been accustomed to this way of thinking, to where you can tackle any problem with thought, with the mind, you can figure things out. If you've been accustomed to that sort of thinking, this could be a big shock to you. What I have moving forward in the future is the Ten of Swords. That kind of represents like the absolute rock bottom. It doesn't really get any worse. Now, I get the distinct impression here. First of all, that card is also very much what's the word? It's very much associated with sort of like a misplaced perspective, or like feeling sad because you're not looking at the situation in the total context. You're getting a little bent out of shape over one little aspect of the situation. So it has that energy as well. So I think moving forward through this situation, it's going to be important for you to sort of do some self-assessment on how you're approaching the situation, like the attitude that you are responding to people with. You have to keep in mind that this Queen of Wands energy that's crossing you, it has like a nurturing energy about it. It cares about you, and it's trying to sort of groom you. So if you view this as like an antagonistic battle, it's going to cause like scarring and heartbreak and things that are just going to push you further away from your goals. So you want to like keep a healthy perspective, because I'm seeing that you're in your subconscious, or in the foundation of the situation, your Two of Coins. Two of Coins represents like trying to juggle two things at once, or not necessarily two things, but just juggling in general. We all sort of feel that well, let's put it this way. People who feel that they're good at multitasking are usually not. And the worse you think you are at multitasking, the better you normally are at it, which is really kind of an interesting concept, because what's going on here is the body does act like a computer in a way, but not necessarily a single core processor. Now, the mind acts like a single core processor, but the body in total, the actions of your digestive system and respiratory system and these things, they sort of act like their own core. Your body can sort of simultaneously, you can have reflexes, which are really simply loops between two nerves that just go back and forth, two or sometimes chains of nerves, like small chains of nerves. But what's essentially happening is there's multiple things going on at once, but if you try to take conscious control, you're limited by that single core processor, which is the mind. So if you let the mind stop worrying about more things and you allow those things to be sort of taken over by your subconscious processes, you free up a tremendous amount of mental energy, because you're no longer trying to switch back and forth between tasks really fast, which is inefficient and nobody's good at it. But you're able to accomplish a lot more without thinking as much about it consciously, because you're letting your body do it, sort of. And so that's sort of the foundation of the situation, I think. And I think that really goes into the overall lesson that you're going to have to learn in this, or through this situation, to resolve this peacefully, sort of, or just to learn the lesson to move ahead, to get to the point where the Queen of Wands is no longer sort of obstructing you or something like that. And I mean, I do see in the crowning thoughts and the sort of conscious mind is the Five of Wands, which again totally reinforces everything that I've said. There's some sort of a creative conflict here, to where you feel like you've got a really good idea or something, or like it would be so easy if they would just let you do it, but for whatever reason they feel as though it's wise to obstruct you or something, to slow you down, or that's how it perceives anyway, or that's how it may be perceived. But it's really an opportunity for growth. So what this person is trying to do is trying to teach you how to look outside the box, or approach the situation a different way. You may see the situation as like life and death, but this person is older and they've seen this sort of thing happen before, and they know that it's more important for you to learn a specific lesson than it is to just spell everything out for you. So that may be why this may be a little more dramatic than you're really trying to make it, but that's where you are. I see as your advice for the current situation the Ten of Cups. And I think this is asking you to focus on all that you've accomplished, focus on the great aspect of your relationship or with this person or thing or whatever it is that's inhibiting you, whatever you feel that is blocking you. There's actually a lot of positive aspects to the relationship of you and that thing. So sort of look there, embrace there, and see if there's a way to move forward in a direction that's more positive for all people involved, or at least like the way that it's perceived. Like, see if you can give them what they want, and in the process get what you want. There's got to be a way. There's something that they're trying to teach you, so just pay attention to it. They have your best interests in heart. And your current environment is the Nine of Wands. So this is a person who is very, very near the completion of a cycle, right? So this is that Queen of Wands. very near to the sort of energy of the King of Wands, the total control of that willpower and creative vision, power of manifestation, very close to it. Also, we've got the Empress in your overall message, but I'll get to that in a minute. I mean, the High Priestess and the Empress, but the High Priestess is your overall message. But so for the Knight of Wands here in your immediate environment, that Queen of Wands is very seasoned herself, and she has a lot. She might have some pride. She might have some wisdom. So you may have some innovation and some new knowledge and something like that. You may be younger, right, and have like a speedier, quicker wit and everything. But don't underestimate the tortoise. Like, you both get there, right? But it's just really a matter of perception as to like how fast you're going or how slow you're going. We all get there. You can take as many millions of years as you want. But I'm not going to get into reincarnation and all that. But, so, you're going to obviously receive opposition from this person, because if she submits to your sort of authority, it's as though she's giving up some of the wisdom that she's worked so hard to achieve. And she worked to achieve that wisdom probably with your best intentions in mind as well. So, in other words, she had to learn these lessons probably by, and when I say she, it may not be a female. This may be an idea or a concept, or like some specific obstacle that you're facing at work. But whatever is involved, somebody feels the need to protect their ideas. So be mindful of that. Every person loves to save face, so don't try to make it like a win. Like there's a winner and a loser in the situation. You're really looking for win-wins here. That's the general idea. And it seems like it'll be pretty easy if you just really pay attention to your perspective. If you monitor the way that you're approaching the situation, you shouldn't have a problem. What I have for your fears is the Empress. And this Empress is sort of the feminine energy. This is very closely related to that Queen of Wands energy, which suggests, the Empress is a card that sort of represents surrender in a way. Surrender to what's going to happen, like to the universe, to chance, right, to chaos, to the unknown. It's the 3 in the major arcana, which comes right after or before the High Priestess, and so it represents this sort of period of calm surrender and release, but it's very vulnerable as well. It's sort of the human who is beginning to recognize their divinity, and in that process, you find that the way that you can most deeply feel the things around you is by letting go to them completely, just letting them happen, feeling them, accepting, and letting it flow into you, and then you can sort of just let it go and release it. You don't have to hold on to it or cling. But for whatever reason, you're afraid of this sort of surrender and release process. You feel like, perhaps you feel like it would totally undo your cause, but I challenge you to sort of step back and rethink that. Is it going to be the end of the world if this person gets what they want? Realistically, what's going to happen? And don't dwell on that too much. Just, convince yourself that most people really do have good intentions for what they're doing. Like we're all doing the best we can. Some people are more likely to screw you over than others, but it's probably because they've been screwed over a lot themselves. So hate just sort of, follows that cycle, and it continues and continues. And the only way to stop it is when people meet that hate and then just decide to respond to it with love. And not even necessarily love with that person, just turn it into love, transmute it into love. Use it as a story to tell your child when you come home about why you should love, or some, you know what I'm saying? Like, just use whatever negativity that comes your way, and it's okay to feel it, hurt, get angry, have that impulse reaction, but don't hang on to it. Just let it go through you. You know what I mean? Okay, and so for your overall message, you have the High Priestess, which indicates it's sort of the embodiment of the journey from the knight to the queen, or king, it's what you're going to have to embrace to go through this transition like fairly smoothly or easily, or what the overall goal is here, which is, just an intuitive, open vessel type of energy, which is where all that thought, you had a tremendous amount of willpower, which is what got you to the top of like where you are intellectually, or maybe even fiscally or something like that. But you've got a certain measure of success, which has given you this confidence boost to jump into this new thing. But your confidence before that skill was yours was theirs to get you that skill. Okay, so now that you have that skill, it may be time to sort of tone that down a little bit, to act deliberately and spontaneously, but to react rather than push forward, with a specific plan in mind or something like that. It's time to sit back and sort of listen to what others around you are saying, what their concerns are, and in that you'll find, I think, a direction that you were looking for in all kinds of various places, but it's kind of been in front of you the entire time. So learn to follow your intuition, and that will make you immensely more powerful than just the intellect alone. So very cool reading for you. If you have any questions or concerns about it, please leave them in the comments, and I will try to address them. And until next time, I will see you. Bye.